Yeah, welcome everybody to Healer's Toolbox, bundle number 5. This is training call number 5, and today is the 3rd of March, 2026. All right, so today we're doing the 29th tool in the Healer's Toolbox. Originally, I had it as machine integration, but last week we did scan and balance tool, which basically does a lot of the function that healing machines would do. So it would be kind of redundant to do an integration tool for that. So instead, I've created a new tool called the Karmic Debt Resolution Matrix. All right, so Karmic Debt Resolution Matrix. So today we're going to activate a cause level technology. So this is not timeline clearing. It is not emotional processing. And it's not forgiveness work. This is a ledger level resolution. So the karmic debt resolution matrix operates at the origin point of repetitive soul patterns. So it identifies, it calculates, it completes, and then it closes. Without suffering, without reenactment, without spiritual bypass. So you're not here to relive your karma. You're here to complete it. So what is karmic debt? So karmic debt is not punishment. It is an unresolved energetic exchange. So it forms when energy was taken but not returned, where power was misused, contracts were broken, lessons were resisted, trauma froze growth mid-cycle, agreements formed under distortion. So karmic debt exists as an open loop. Open loops create repetition. Repetition creates identity patterns, and identity patterns create destiny trajectories. So this tool works at the loop level, not the symptom, not the timeline, and not the personality, but the loop. All right, the matrix architecture. The karmic debt resolution matrix scans across current incarnation, parallel timelines, past incarnations, ancestral inheritance lines, soul group contracts, relationship energetic ledgers, and collective entanglement fields. So it identifies repetition themes, recurring relationship dynamics, authority distortions, scarcity cycles, abandonment loops, betrayal scripts, suppression patterns. It does not guess, it calculates based on energetic charge density. Where there's a high charge, that equals unresolved ledger entry. So the core automated functions of this tool. So the first function, function number 1, identify unresolved karmic loops. So as a practitioner, you can ask what percentage of the client or my current life patterns are karmic loop driven, right? Right. So that's something you can do right now as a baseline. Muscle tests. What percentage of my current life patterns are karmic loop driven? So so what patterns or loops do you have in your life? Um, do you have a pattern of scarcity? Avoiding abundance and money. Maybe that's karmic loop driven. So you can muscle test and see what percentage of your life patterns are karmic loop driven. All right, so do that now, and you can write it down or memorize it as your baseline. All right, so in function 1, identify unresolved karmic loops. All right, the matrix scans for high emotional charge clusters, repeated life themes. Okay, so just going to the chat. All right, so Caroline got 87%. Okay, so that's pretty high. Yeah, so this tool is good for you, Caroline. Yeah, so if 87% of your patterns are karmic loop driven, yeah, that's pretty big. Yeah. All right. So yeah, so when we get to the practical part, we'll see if that percentage drops. So Anna has 30%, you know. All right. Okay, so Karen got 48% karmic loop driven. Okay, so that's pretty big because that's like almost half of your patterns are, are related to karmic loops. All right, so Lillian says 75%. So that's pretty high. That's 3/4. So you're up there with Caroline. Wow, that's pretty big. So yeah, so we'll see what that gets to after. Yeah, so Lillian was asking about sister being burnt with hot water, and then she got hot water on her in the teens. Then the sister got on her again, bad
Just
burn.
a couple of days ago.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, that could be a loop. Like, is that coincidence? Like, how is that repeating so much? So it could be a loop. Maybe it's related to karma, maybe it's not, but it seems to be some sort of pattern that repeats. Okay, so Anna's asking about to check specific things like scarcity. So I mean, like afterwards you could check specific things, but like I'm just saying in general, like muscle tests, like all the patterns that you have in your life, like how many of those patterns are related to karmic loops, right? Out of all your patterns, I mean, you could muscle test, which ones are there, and just come up with different things, you know. All right, so I'm going on with the slides. All right, so the core automated functions. All right, so we went through function 1, which was to identify unresolved karmic loops. All right, so the matrix scans for high emotional charge, repeated life themes, chronic external mirrors, power imbalance signatures. So it flags the loop origin, not the surface memory. So function 2 cross-incarnational scan. So the matrix then reads across incarnational sequence, inherited ancestral coding, soul contract residue, and it distinguishes what is yours, what was inherited, and what was agreed to. Function 3, so the pattern lesson linkage. Each karmic loop is tied to a lesson. The matrix extracts core lesson, growth threshold, maturation requirement. And once a lesson is integrated at identity level, the loop loses necessity. Function number 4, dissolve without suffering. So this function is critical. Completion does not require reenactment. The matrix performs energetic equalization, ledger recalibration, charge neutralization, and contract fulfillment through awareness. So suffering is not a requirement. Conscious completion is. Function number 5, neutralize the cause level entanglements. So at the origin point, energetic hooks dissolve, debt narratives collapse, identity ties release, and the cause seed is neutralized. Not suppressed, not buried, but neutralized. In function 6, we have relationship ledger balancing. So the matrix calculates energy given, energy taken, emotional contracts, imbalanced vows. It returns excess energy cleanly and recalls your energy from others. It balances the exchange to 0. 0 means clean, 0 means it's complete. And then function 7 is a soul contract completion. So unfinished contracts are either completed, amended, dissolved. Completion occurs without needing both parties physically present. The ledger updates at the soul level. Function 8, prevent pattern reactivation. So after closure, the matrix installs a reactivation firewall, a lessons integrated seal, identity recalibration. The pattern thus no longer has energetic fuel. And then the last function, number 9, the soul ledger seal. So the final step is a seal at soul accounting level. All karmic debts resolved in alignment with highest order completion, ledger balance, cycle close, the field sealed. All right, so I'm going to go into the empowerment. So just go into the chat quick. All right, so function 4. So Lillian says, wow, when you talked about function 4, something left my body. There's a lot going on subtly as you go through other functions. Now down to 35%. Okay, so the work has started already. So number 4 is dissolve without suffering. Okay, so that's big for you, you know? You could dissolve the karma without having to suffer. Right, so that's great. You could go in. All right. So I'm just going to go through the formal part of the empowerment. All right. So this empowerment is for all who are enrolled in the Karmic Debt Resolution Matrix training. So those of you who are live here on the Zoom, plus those who are doing the course replay. The Karmic Debt Resolution Matrix will be installed and you'll be empowered to run this automatically for yourself and for others, for your clients. So I do not carry debt that is complete. I do not repeat lessons that are integrated. I do not suffer for growth that is already achieved. I choose conscious completion. I choose sovereign evolution. I choose clean closure. So karma is not a punishment. It is unfinished mathematics. The karmic debt resolution matrix performs the calculation. When the equation balances, the cycle ends. This is cause level freedom. This is pattern finalization. This is soul ledger 0. All right, so Lillian says she's now down to 13%. So wow, that's a big drop from 75% then to 35, now to 13. So yeah, wow, that's pretty big. Yeah, so notice how you feel now, Lillian, and going forward, yeah, notice if things change, in your outlook, like patterns that are not good, you know, see if they're broken and you're now free and falling off in bulk. Yeah, so that's good. Yeah, so Lilian says falling off in bulk. That's what it feels like. This was a big one for me. Yes, yes, wow. And I almost didn't do it because this wasn't on the original list. So so yeah, that's good. All right, so Gary says it's down to below 10%. Okay, yeah, that's good, Gary. Well, you can check like what percentage you started off with. Like, what was your baseline percentage? Yeah. So so Anna says she's confused how the percentage started to drop. Um, yeah, so sometimes when I'm doing these courses, like, you know, time is not linear. So sometimes even before I do the empowerment, like if your intention is there, like things could start to activate and work even before we do it formally, you know? So and then when I do the empowerment, like what even if I haven't done the formal part, like once you have the intention for it to work, it will start to work automatically. All right, so I'll just go through the formal part, like what you can do for the statement. So the practical part. So using karmic debt resolution matrix on yourself or on a client or a group of clients. All right, so you can use these words with the intention using Ian's Healer's Toolbox karmic debt resolution matrix. I perform karmic debt resolution matrix on myself, client XYZ, or the client group XYZ. And you can put the intention to just run it like once in the session, or if you want it to be working 24/7. So maybe some karma um maybe deep down and it's not cleared at the surface. So you could run it 24/7 if there's stuff that comes up later on. Right? And then once you run it, those same 9 functions that we talked about will run automatically. Manually for yourself or your client, you can ask what percentage of the client's current life patterns are karmic loop driven and get a baseline percentage. And then after the session, you can check the percentage to see if it decreased. All right. And right. And that's basically how you'll do the practical. So I'll just check the chat now. All right, so Karen says now she gets 27%. It was 48 before. All right, that's good. So that's like half. It cut in half of what it was before. So yeah, that's progress. Oh, so Anna says very cool. Lilian says for sure. So Caroline says she's taking time to come back from this one. At first, it felt like that was being pulled out through the top of my head. And after a while, it was like my energetic eggshell burst open and was drawn out from all planes of body and soul. Truly amazing. Yes. Wow, that sounds amazing, Caroline. Wow. So, I mean, you're really having a lot of a lot of transformation taking place. Yeah, that's good. Right, so if y'all have any questions or comments or feedback, you could put it in the chat. Right. All right, so Lilian says she's doing it for someone. Okay, the baseline was 92%. So that's like really almost 100%. It's now down to 77%. Okay, good. Um, maybe needs to repeat, you know. And then to remember this is the Healer's Toolbox tool. So if your client is a star seed, you know, um, it may not reach down to zero, you know. You may need to use other tools in the star seeds toolbox. If you can't get the karma to go down to zero. All right, so Lilian says she's running 24/7. Yeah, yeah, you can do that and see if that will get the percentage below the 77%. All right, so Anna says she installed it in herself and is now at zero. Yahoo, thank you. Yeah, well, that's great, Anna. So yeah. So yeah, so notice how things change in the next days or weeks, you know, like patterns that are not healthy. Like notice if they start to disappear, or you just choose not to do them, you know. Um, if you have a pattern of scarcity or poverty, you know, notice if you're more open to abundance and money now, you know. So yeah, so things could change in the coming days and weeks. Right, so as the diagram shows with the scale, so things are now balanced now. So, the idea is, yeah, it's mathematics. You want to clear out this karmic stuff. You don't need to repeat it. It's a loop that you may be stuck in, and then the loop it repeats itself, and then that's like a pattern, and then that affects your behavior. So, yeah, once you clear it out at the root, it'll make big changes for you and your clients. All right. So any questions, any feedback? Like how are people feeling? All right. So Karen says she's yawning a lot. All right. So that's good. Things are shifting. Lillian says she's brilliant. Nice. Gary says he feels something in the chest, in my chest. Mhm. All right, so that's good. Things are shifting. So Karen says something big is happening. Oh, nice. Something big. Wow, that's great. All right, so Caroline said I was about to say I was not ready to install it for anybody else, as I felt it wasn't working for me still. But then I installed it for my son, and then it all settled for me as well. All right, nice. That's good. All right, so Karen says she's tingling in the whole body. Nice. Mm, oh, so that's really nice. All right, so Anna says her son was having money blockages, which I now discovered due to his 40% karmic loop, and showed I needed to remove this in him. And he's now at zero. He'll be thrilled when I tell him why he's been struggling so long. Yeah, yeah, that's really good, Anna. Yeah. So Lillian says she's down to 5%, and the other person is down to 31%. All right. That's good. That's really good, you know. And check back, like just like when you do healing work, like you're clearing emotional energies and stuff, like sometimes they come up in layers. So right now, even though you reach down to 0%, still check back later on and see if there's other karmic loops that were like deep down that are now coming to the surface. So you can always check back, and like if you find that you have other layers of karmic stuff coming up, you could run it 24 hours every day. So as things come to the surface, it will get cleared out. So Karen says hers is down to 15%. Okay, nice. So Lilian asks, do we need to do integration chamber on this, or is it that it releases without pain? Yeah, it should release without pain. Um, but of course, like you can always check, like if you feel something's not integrating totally, you can muscle test if to use the integration chamber with it. All right, so Karen says the client she did was at 96%. Then it went down to 77%, then to 45, and she's running it 24/7. Okay, nice. Yeah. Yeah, so that's good. I mean, it'll make a big difference, Because I mean, a lot of times some of the patterns you're stuck in, like you try doing many different things and you're still stuck. So it's like a loop that's originated from way back when, you know. So this tool, the karmic debt resolution matrix, like you just run it automatically and it will go back and do the 9 functions, and it will clear out the karma and get it down to 0. So Caroline asks what percentage she's at now. Feels low, but the number's not coming. Can I get help to check? And Lillian says 25%. Mhm. All right, so I think that's for Caroline. All right, so I think Caroline started at 87%. So if it's down to 25%, like that's a big jump. Okay, so Karen also got 25%. So that's confirmation. All right, nice. All right, so Caroline says thank you. That's the Lillian and Karen. Yeah, so Lillian says, I feel this is still working. It's making a huge difference. Oh yeah. Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So yeah, I mean, like that's the idea with all these different tools because for some people, like one tool just can't do it all. You have to hit it from different angles, from different aspects. So this is one. Karmic loops, affect a lot of people. And yeah, so once you go back to the root cause and you clear that, it will make a big difference in your life. All right, so any more questions or feedback? Um, if not, we could end here. And then the next class will be Thursday.
The quick
Yeah,
question,
go ahead.
and that is, if it makes sense. I don't know if you need it on the recording though.
Stop the recording, you said? Oh,
Yeah.
okay, hold on.
Yeah. Instead of
Hold on
doing
a second. I haven't done it yet.